All right, well, I promised you a character. I've got this little character here called Low Man. It's just a little low poly character. Um, and I'm going to start with a scene similar to that basic scene that I put up. Um, just a player who follows mouse clicks. Uh, and with this player, I'm going to remove uh, the with, with the cylinder that I had back here in the basic scene. I'm going to take off everything except the NavMesh agent, the capsule collider, and mesh renderer, and player controller, uh, and um, I'm also going to add a different player controller that because there's a bit of modification that goes on here, and I don't want to break what I've already done. So the low man uh, has this player controller too, and as well as the NavMesh agent, the third person character that's added automatically by player controller 2. And I'm using the standard assets third person character. So in my player controller, I'm asking for the Unity standard assets characters third person. This is so I can have a third person character script. And this is going to add a bunch of components that automatically. I don't actually have to do it. The third person character is an example of a motor script that takes care of all the animations through the animator controller. We sometimes write a separate script that accepts the input, horizontal and vertical, or we have an AI script that defines its movement, follow, flee, do that kind of stuff. And it does this all by accessing a public function move that takes a vector3 velocity and some booleans for whether it's supposed to crouch or jump. The other thing we have to do is in this script is since our animations are controlling the behavior, we need to turn off the agent's update rotation. The NavMesh agent would like to rotate our character, but we have to turn that off so that the animations control its rotation, not the NavMesh agent. And we can do this in the start just by turning the update rotation off. The update function where we did our mouse button down and our set destination. Here's where we have to actually move the agent. So we have to call the third person character script's move function with this vector and the crouch and jump settings. And we get that desired velocity. We get that vector from the agent's desired velocity. The NavMesh agent wants it to go somewhere at a particular speed, and we're using that speed to drive our character around, to make the character animate at that appropriate speed. So the other thing that I did was I added the low boy's body as a child of this animated player that has the controller, the NavMesh agent, the animator, the rigid body. Most of these were added automatically by the third person character script. but we've added the low man's body so that there's something visual for us to see. This is basically the visual character and its skeleton, all the different pieces of it that are being animated. The animator requires an animator controller and an avatar. Both of these we get from the Lowman folder. The capsule collider that goes with the character. This cylinder is the NavMesh cylinder, and it has to be adjusted so that it fits. Center Y at 1 and height of 2 seems to work, and hopefully this will just work as we want it to. So if I point and click here, my low man runs to the particular spot with the proper animation, and everything's working fine. The character controller is what's driving the character around, using the agent's desired velocity in its move function in the motor that drives the character around. This is often why we set up characters in this fashion, that they have a motor, and then we have different controllers, either user controlled with vertical and horizontal, or AI controlled with follow and flee, or in this case, NavMesh controlled with desired velocity. All very cool. The Lowman works with links here. So if I go back, go to my next scene with links, here now I have a couple of links so that he can now jump up and jump over to these regions. And now if I play this and drive him over here and ask him to go over here, he goes up the link over here, across this link, and over here. What's kind of interesting is that the character controller apparently is detecting whether the character is grounded, and when the character is not grounded, it goes into this kind of falling animation, and so it gives it a fairly convincing appearance as it leaps across these gaps. It sure isn't perfect, but it's better than nothing. Now, I'm going to stop again here, stop sharing. I'm trying to keep these videos sort of short, so I'll stop sharing and I'm going to stop recording, and I will come back in and talk about different kinds of agents that we can have here. So I'll